Phyllis, thank you so much. That is a old song from the traditional church, one of my favorites, In the Garden. And so thank you for starting this service with that beautiful song. Well, good morning. My name is Minnassa, and I'm your service leader today. And so welcome to all of you who are here today. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And for those of you who are watching online, like I don't see Carol and Bob in here, so I know they're usually watching online, so welcome. Then those of you who are watching later, welcome. Thank you so very much. This is Unity of Bloomington, a center for spiritual growth, a place of love and light and healing. So you couldn't be in a better spot today. And for those of you who are watching as well, and so welcome. All right, our theme this month is Rise Up, a call to spiritual maturity. And then if you will join me in our affirmation, I rise up in spiritual strength, awaken to my divine potential. I release fear and choose love. I upgrade my thoughts, my choices, and my being. I am ready to blossom into my highest consciousness now. All right. And if you are able or want to, I invite you to stand and join us in our welcome hymn this morning, Use Me, written by Reverend Michael Beckwith and Ricky Byers. Good morning and welcome to our Namaste moment. Isn't it beautiful outside? Yes. And what a wonderful place to be here in Bloomington, here at the Unity of Bloomington. Here, we should call this Club Unity. It's more like a little club, you know? It's not exclusive, and if you got the right paperwork and pedigree, we will let you join, right? If we put it like that, people be beating the door down, right? Well, you don't have to beat the door down. You are welcome here. You are welcome here. So this Namaste moment, as we are stepping into Holy Week, in what ways can your journey walk towards your higher good, your higher expansion as we step into this week? Where in our hearts can we expand more? Where in our hearts can we step into our power more? And where in our hearts can we step into our love more? So hands together at our heart chakra, really making space for that place. And then let's see the love, the divine, the holiness, the oneness that we are. I got so caught up in this, I forgot to say release the kids. So as you're moving about the cabin, Patty and then our young lady preacher, Mabry, will be her assistant today. and she will help. So Patty's in the back, and I greet you all this morning with the love of the divine. Namaste, namaste, and namaste. Oh, look how orderly we all returned to our seats. I appreciate that. I'm your service leader today because the young woman who was going to be the service leader is not feeling well. So let's keep Sierra in our hearts and minds today, knowing that all is well and that she is in full health and feeling better. And we'll send her. She'll get so much love from this place that she'll just be like, boom, I was out running on the track after that. So we're going to send her that love. And then anyone in your heart that you are holding for prayer, we don't need to know the circumstance, but what we do know is that all is well, that it is happening for their highest good, better than we could even ask, imagine, or think. So we hold that space, knowing that there's no situation that the divine within them does not have a solution to or a path to a higher way of being. And so we stand in that space. And then let's take a breath in and out. This morning we give thanks for this sacred space, Unity of Bloomington, a community rooted in truth, love, and spiritual power. We bless every home represented here and affirming for each person and home an overflow of health, prosperity, and joy. We open our hearts to healing for ourselves, for our neighbors, and for this mighty nation. May the spirit of oneness rise up among us, dissolving the illusion of separation that separates us based on a bunch of made-up stuff. Our soul is welcome here. Let's see each other's soul level. Let us affirm that we have more in common than we think. There is one power, one presence, one delight, one divine life that is expressing through all of us. We are one. And in this awareness, we rise together. We serve together. We love together. And we heal together. And so it is. I'll send it over to Phyllis. So Phyllis, this song that you're singing, I'm going to live so God can use me, I actually, when you were playing that today, that reminded, do you know there's another old traditional Negro hymn that's a part of?
Probably.
It was like, I thought I'd know they were singing that song. It's a good song. So here we go.
I'm gonna live so God can use me.
So Phyllis, bring that song back up again. I want you to play it. Tell me when you're ready. Okay, here we go. I feel better, so much better, since I laid my burden down. There you go. I feel better, so much better, since I laid my burden down. All right, I thought I knew that song from someplace else. So, very good. All right, our inspirational reading today comes from the Daily Word, and it is actually the reading for today, Palm Sunday. On Palm Sunday, I celebrate the divine presence within. Today is Palm Sunday, the commemoration of Jesus' arrival in Jerusalem that symbolizes the awakening of the Christ awareness in humankind. Those who followed Jesus into Jerusalem shouting, "Hosanna! Blessed is the one who comes in the name of the Lord." Imagining this joyous scene, I feel inspired to follow Jesus' actions and express more and more of the love, peace, joy, and light of my Christ nature. As Holy Week begins, I open my heart and mind to more fully embody and share the Christ of my being. I feel blessed knowing others around the world on this sacred day are doing the same. Together we bring peace and healing to the world and to one another, fulfilling the promise of Jesus.
Waiting to love and guide me.
Well, first of all, let's give the choir another hand. That is awesome. And Phyllis, thank you for the work that you do in corralling this group of people. And you too could be a member of this cool group. That's right. So you see, it's not, you have to be professional. It's not like Beyonce up here, even though she might qualify for this choir, we'll have to see. But, yeah. Well, she's a Virgo, so she's already disqualified under that, right? I'm talking, right, Leanne? I'm just saying. Truth is truth. All right. But join the choir, come on out. So many beautiful things to do in this place. So a woman was thinking about getting a pet to help keep her company at home. She decided she didn't want a dog or a cat, something where she just too much work. She just wanted something that was simple. And she thought, I'll get a beautiful parrot, and then it can talk to me. So she went to the nearest pet place, and they had a beautiful, beautiful parrot there. She's like, okay, I'm going to get this. Owner says $50. She's like, really? That's all? Says, well, it used to live in a brothel, so sometimes it can say some stuff. She's like, that's fine. That's fine. So she took the parrot home. When the parrot got home to her house, it said, new house, new madam. So the lady was like, okay, not quite, but okay, I know you need to get used to us, so I'll just keep it moving. Well, then 2 hours later or so, her two beautiful daughters come home. And the parrot says, new house, new madam, young, beautiful workers. So they're like, not really, but okay, you're just trying to adjust, so we're good with you. So then about 2 hours later, the husband came home. The bird says, new house, new madam, new beautiful workers, but same old face. Hey, George! So yes, and then the story went to a different place after that. Oh, goodness. So my message title today is The Path of Power, Meekness and Majesty, and with the beautiful palms representing the majesty of this special day. And then my focus text comes from Philippians 2:7. Philippians, that verse 2:1 through 11, is the song of the Christ. This is a song that was inserted, which any good preacher could do, put a song in your message. And this is from that. So this translation says, but emptied himself, taking the form of a servant, being made in human likeness. And so also this version, instead, he, meaning Master Teacher Jesus, gave up his divine privileges. He took the humble position of a slave and was born a human being. So on this Palm Sunday, and let's just have a quick review, and not assuming that everybody went to church and knew what we're talking about. So again, this is part of the Easter season, and this is Jesus' in the narratives, Master Teacher Jesus returned to Jerusalem after he's been around preaching and healing people, and he went in the temple and had a fit in there about stuff, but he's returning back. And he is greeted by people who have been touched by him. And they are shouting his praises. They're laying down palm leaves for him and the donkey that he's riding on to come into town. So there's much joy and then much angst with the church folks, because he already went and had a fit with the treasurer and threw stuff around and said, this isn't what this place is supposed to be about. And now these people are honoring and seeing his gifts, and they're like, But that's later in the week. So as he enters into Jerusalem, this narrative on a donkey, this is someone who is showing the path of conscious surrender. It's not coming in on his high horse, right? There's a reason that term is used. He's coming in on a gentle animal that is very strong. So this quiet inner strength is this symbol represented in this entry into the city. This is the spiritual path of maturity, knowing how to surrender and to come in with meekness, not being mealy-mouthed or being a doormat, but knowing that your meekness and your power walk hand in hand, that yin-yang. It's not either or. You can be a servant and still come in your power and your gifts. And so in this story of Master Teacher Jesus, what you don't know beforehand is that his disciple was like, dude, you shouldn't go there. You do know that you will get in trouble. But there was a higher mission, that alignment with that higher understanding, that folks can have whatever plan they want. But when we step into our power, we understand that our path may take us through a rough patch, to a place where folks don't like. But that's okay, because again, our power comes in walking in obedience, which I know are not popular words here at Unity, but in obedience and surrender to the divinity that is within us. That is where true power comes from. I think you can look around the world and watch people are trying to force stuff to happen. Right? How many of you have ever just said to your kids, you're going to eat this cookie right now, and I don't care what you want, right? You never have to force sweets on people, right? And so if we understand how to move in the spirit, people want love. People want healing. People want to be acknowledged. So if we walk into that power with meekness, we are bringing a powerful, powerful presence, more than what people know they really need. And so when we take a look again at this story of Master Teacher Jesus, he didn't crash the gates. He didn't come in, do you remember Aladdin, the movie Aladdin, when Aladdin comes into town and Genie's got a band and everyone's bowing down? He didn't enter like that. He already knew who he was. You don't need people from the outside. And it's always a narrative. If I told you, came here one Sunday and said, oh my God, I was unstoppable today on the court. I was dunking. I was shooting the three. I was unstoppable. They just couldn't stop me. Said, oh my God, Minnassa, are you having a seizure? I'm like, no. This is a true story. I'm like, really? Like, yeah, those kindergartners were nothing. Right? It'd be like, right again. So was that really a show of power? Or was it, it's force, right? Because they couldn't, now get on the, let's get LeBron James and, Yannick. I mean, yeah, then all of a sudden be like, oh, hello, let's all pray. I'm here to do my ministerial stuff, right? I'd go into a different set of gifts. All right, I'm going to shoot the J. So, and so that's what we're looking here. I think we get caught up in the rigmarole of, back in the old days, Phyllis, how would this service have started? We would have had the kids come in with their palms, singing their palms, and would have laid them all down. But we don't do that because it's not about the pageantry, it's about the story. You want to be powerful in your life? Master Teacher Jesus is the example of that. And sometimes you got to speak truth to power. So when the church folks are all like, oh, look at us. He's like, yeah, y'all look good. Like a beautiful sepulcher, all white and gorgeous on the outside and full of death on the inside, all right? I mean, that's probably why he wasn't very popular with people. But again, he didn't say it he wasn't mad, just speaking truth from a place of his power. And that's what this story is about today. How can I move forward? How can we move forward in our lives, in our power, without, like my story, they couldn't stop me, right? This is about moving in our power. And one is recognizing and being accepting of the powerful people that we are. I think we talked about a couple weeks ago, we were talking about Mother Mary, and when she went to Jesus and said, hey, listen, they run out of wine at this party. And he's like, hey, good to know. Thanks, Mom. And she just says to the servants, do what he tells you. Right? The power sometimes is, I know you don't recognize your giftings, but I see that. And so I'm going to make room for that. And then Jesus had the choice to step into his power or be like, oh, it's not time, and I didn't prepare, and I'm not ready. And he said, all right, got some water? We got this. Power is understanding that when there's a need for love, when there's a need for healing, when there's a need for transformation, that's when your power is needed and at its greatest. So here's the question. Are you able to trust your inner voice, or you're listening to the crowd outside? Right? Because they'll hype you up. But in that quiet time, when it's only you, who will you hear? This is that capacity to understand that whatever is being said on the outside, whatever is being written by this or that person, whatever they're doing up in Indianapolis, there is a higher voice within us that is guiding us to our greater yet to be. And can you hear that voice in the midst of people shouting your praises and in the midst of people bringing you down? That is power, that in either way, you and I know who we are, and we move in that way. So I want to bring back up the map of consciousness for educational purposes only. This image is for educational purposes only. But I really appreciate Dr. David Hawkins, because again, how can I check myself? What are my tools? Right, in the old days, I went to confession, I had communion, I went on a mission trip, right? Those are all ways that people who are looking to do something on the outside, I'm not saying their heart's not in the right place, but this is something outside of them that shows you're on the right track. We are people of the inside. And so we have to use internal tools. And so again, this great map of consciousness, it's not just that, oh, I'm down here at, I'm mad all the time, or I always feel ashamed. This is an invitation to rise up. Someone told me they grew up in the Catholic Church and they come here every Sunday, but they said they still feel guilty because they were trained, if you didn't go to confession, you're not in church, you're sinning. So here they are in this love-filled space, this transformative space, and yet there's a part of them that's still operating at this shame and guilt level. This is a way to say, well, what? Say, well, this is what they told me. They were operating on the best that they knew. But again, is it that internal voice or this external voice? So this map of consciousness gives us the capacity to say, I will choose courage. I'm going to start there. I'm going to have courageous conversations. I'm going to do something different. A friend of mine, who's my friend now, but there was a time we were not agreeing, and I had already set it up in my mind. When this lady is done with this conversation, we're done. My mama raised me right, so I will be polite when I see her in places, but I'm done. I'm done. And I think my body language and my voice and the way I was acting, she could tell I was done. But she didn't give up. She continued to be courageous and come at me this way and that way and this way. And then finally she said, we can both agree that we love Oprah. I was like, Oprah? And then my heart opened, because I thought she is really reaching, right? She could have said, you love peanut butter and jelly, and she probably would have got the same response, right? But again, that courageousness to say, I'm not going to let you close the door on me. I want to be in relationship with you. That is maturity. You're not going to push me out. And then this willingness, acceptance. I accept all of you people that like to eat liver and onions. The Hobnob, if you're looking, serves liver and onions at that place. So now I'm not sure I'm going to go there. No, I'm kidding. But again, this acceptance that you can be both and that you can be like a total liberal but hate vaccines, right? That I have to accept that, no, there's people who don't, sweet tea from the South, I can't drink tea anywhere else. It did something to me. So I have to accept that I will never have tea again unless I'm in the South. But accepting our failures, what we perceived as failures. Accepting people's differences. This is the real sign. Are you maturing that you, doesn't mean you have to agree with what they're saying, but you can accept that they are still the light of the divine, that they are still us, one with us. And that I will accept you. Say, well, we can agree to disagree. Well, if your disagreement denying my humanity or taking away my rights. We can't disagree on that. But I can agree that even in the midst of this, you are still God and so am I. When I worked at Cedar Sinai, they had a chapel and I would go in there, and one day I had the most, in many ways I cried for probably about 10 minutes after being in there because it was so overwhelming with potential. In the chapel, there was a Jewish man saying his prayers, and I don't know if you've ever seen, they have this thing they wrap around their arm, and they have this prayer box that they have. So I was looking, because he had that. Then there was a Muslim lady at the back, and she had her prayer carpet down, and she was praying. And then in the midst of this Christian guy was standing up and praying out loud. And I was so overwhelmed that this one space was holding these three holy traditions. They weren't fighting, they weren't disagreeing. There was a holiness in that space. The acceptance that when we step into this place, all those little differences, and I know they're historical and they're long. People have been fighting wars over it. But in that sacred space, we were one. And that's the energy of Palm Sunday. I'm moving forward in my power, and I invite you to come with me as well. And it begins with remembering that we too have areas to grow. I'm proud of you. So many of you reached out to me last week about, wow, that was a tough message, but it got me thinking. I appreciate that. That's what we're here to grow together. And so I honor you for your choice to grow. So let's talk about meekness is not weakness. Christian churches are full of women and not so many men. And part of the challenge was years ago is that Jesus looks too weak. Right? This guy got the, especially after the Passion, if you saw that movie, it just got the living daylights beat out of him. And then, it's like, and men don't want that. But if we know that there is real power in meekness, in submitting to the authority, to submitting to one another, that's where power really is. I mean, in the end, I'm sort of giving away next week, right? But there is the resurrection that you can't beat someone who the power that they are, the divinity that they are. You cannot beat that out of them. They are going to rise up to that glory. I can speak to that myself. Church had beat me down. I shared with Luke how I was a pastor at a church that I didn't know, 2 ministers that said no to them before I came. So walking into that grief, into that rejection without being told while I was assigned there, I couldn't do anything right. If I had come into the church one Sunday and said, I have gold bars and I'm giving everybody gold bars, they'd be like, well, you think we are just people hungry for me? I couldn't do anything right. Here's ice cream, here's candy. Nothing. I couldn't do anything right. I told a man, well, hey, I was trying to do this and this and this. He goes, well, you didn't sleep with him, right? I said, what do you mean? He says, well, that's why he didn't let you. I'm like, what? First of all, there was no offer to do that. This man's older than my father, and right? But again, this kind of concept that as a woman, that if I wanted something done, I had a way to pay for it. I was like, ew, And I was like, no, that is not what happened. I applied to be the minister of a Unity church. Right? You say, well, that's just those old Christians, those bad people. But I know at Unity. So at Unity, I applied to be the minister. And like last week, I bought a message that was like, what are you guys going to do? Just sit on this beautiful property, or are you going to do something? Yes, you have this gorgeous property, 5 acres around, but so what? Right? Much nicer than that. You're like, nah, Minnassa, we heard your messages. So I was speaking again the next Sunday. When I got there was no one to open the door. The leadership didn't like my message, so they didn't come to open the door. The tech guy had to let me in. So you can see why when my coach, Stephanie, said to me, oh, you're going to go back to ministry. I was like, girl, I will not do that. Told her, I will not. I'm done with those folks, either traditional or these new thought folks. But there was a path to meekness where I had to move forward, surrendered to that internal call. And said, this is your life's work. And I said, all right, let me check out these unities. I'm not going to New York. I'm not going to Florida. Like this whole thing, got it down to 3. Bloomington, Ohio, and Virginia. Virginia and Ohio sent me all these forms to fill out. Bloomington sent me this gorgeous set of women who were just so loving. That's right. So loving and so kind. And I had to jump through a bunch of hoops to get here with y'all, okay? But it was my path. And so I share that because, yes, I had made up my mind. I wasn't going to serve like I had before. I was going to have, I had served and given my heart and But there was a higher path calling me. Could I have the courage to once again open my heart to service? And now here you guys are, stuck with me. So crazy. You guys just think that's a good idea. It's like, yeah, right? Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. This concept that there is power in service, that there is power in surrender, this is the joy of Palm Sunday. That yes, you may not be riding high in your Mercedes or BMW or whatever, but when I was in my little Volkswagen, I was as powerful as I could be. Howard Thurman puts it this way: the power that saves is the power that serves. There is a real power in service. When we have those people greet us, the most important position in this church, as far as I'm concerned, are the people that meet you at that door. They're serving. People that lift up the voices here, they're serving. The board that I have the honor to help to lead this congregation with, serving. And when I come here, I too say to the divine within me, how might I be more loved when I step into this place? I don't know if you remember, it's funny that I'm the service leader this Sunday because my first Sunday here, I took over everything. I was the service leader, and I thought, you can't do that. They didn't ask you to come and be the service leader here. And I had to relinquish all my little Virgo control, OCD, want things right, do this. I had to release that because my power comes in loving, in serving, in surrendering to the call of collaboration and partnership. And that's what this world needs. Not everybody knows what they're doing, but together we bring a knowledge. And I may not have this and you may not have that, but when we bring them together, we're more powerful. It is in service that our true power is. We rise by showing up, not with noise, but with our very presence. We rise by serving, not from obligation, but from a place of love. And we rise by living as spiritually mature beings. We know that meekness and majesty are not opposites. They are partners in empowering ourselves and being transformative presence on this world. I'm ready for my next slide, Seb. So together, if you agree with this, let's say our affirmation today. I walk the path of spiritual power. I serve with love, lead with humility, and rise in consciousness. I am guided, grounded, and glorious. And oh yes, glorious it is. invite you to take a deep breath in. Let's inhale and exhale. Feel yourself being more fully present. Let's breathe in again and out. Settle into your quiet strength of your being. And as we've talked about the prosperous path and spiritual living, as we started this service within the garden, see yourself in a sacred, beautiful garden surrounded by gorgeous tulips and daffodils, my favorite flowers, lilies, green and gorgeous. And in this place, meet your divinity, your wholeness, your light, your love. Sit in this space, calm, steady, knowing that it is sacred ground as you are there. Take time to hear the small voice within. Take a moment and step into the silence. I invite you back. Let's take a deep breath in and out. Knowing as we leave this sacred space that we are powerful because we are rooted and aligned with love. Let this be your thought throughout this week. I walk the power of path. I walk the path of power. I serve with love. I lead with humility, and I rise in consciousness. Let's breathe in and out, and so it is. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are whole. We prepare now to show our gratitude for what we continue to receive. There are several ways to contribute to Unity of Bloomington. If you still have checks, we will take that. And your cash money, we're not going to lock the doors. I'm kidding. That's probably not an appropriate joke in here. And also the text to give. And I will tell you, Kathy gave a plug for that. And I would get here on Sunday, I don't have checks, I didn't have no cash. And I'm telling you, by setting it up with the text to give to where it gives every week, it's just made my capacity to donate so much simpler. And so I will plug that again. And then you can donate from the screen. Remember, as the offering bags are passed, you may want to bless the bags and their content. We want your energy on those bags, so please do. We have the blue visitors in the back, blue form in the back, prayer request. Fill those things out. Now listen, if you fill that blue form out, don't just put your name, because I want to send you an email. I want to send you something in the mail. And you're like, well, Joe. Well, I don't know who you is, so please fill it out complete. Well, I don't want you to have my information. Well, I want your information. If you don't want me to have your information, that's fine. I'll Google you, no? It's a way for us to communicate with you. This is a loving community. So we want to be able to communicate with you. All right, you can put both of those forms in the bag. I'm calling the greeters up. This is Mary Ellen May and then Aaron today. I think she's got someone new. So thank you for your service. This sacred work, too, giving us the opportunity to sow into this community. Thank you so much. Let us say our abundance affirmation. I invite you to join me. I am an abundant being in an abundant universe. I'm not dependent on people or situations for my good. God within is the source of my supply. I always have something to give, and I consistently give it. I expect the best, I give my best, and I now attract the best in every experience. Thank you. All right, greeters, come back up and let's say our offering blessing together. Wait till they come up. Here they go. All right. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I am grateful. All right, so we have some reminders that there's a lot of community things happening this evening. So our very own Dan Pikowski will be, yes, at the Latter-day Saints. So the Latter-day Saints, the Mormon Church on West 3rd, is having a community choir. That's how Dan's got to be a part of it. And tonight at 7, a concert, again, LDS Church on West 3rd Street. And then Davta is part of Trash and Refashion. So they're having their big runway fashion show tonight. And so this is at the Buzzkirk Chumley as a fundraiser for the Center for Sustainable Living. Tickets are available online and maybe at the door. They will sell out fast. So Mary Ellen or Aaron, we have the Easter eggs in the back. Are there any still back there? Correct. So as you walk out, no fighting. Get those last few bags and to take them home and then bring them back with you Sunday morning. So I wanted to share something, if you didn't know already, that Gail and I closed on our home. And so we are in the process. If you remember, we rented a home, so we didn't unpack that much. So those boxes that were just sitting there at the beautiful home we're renting have made their way to our house. And I will say that the pod will be coming on the 16th, so don't be blocking me. I will be calling you, asking for help. And so thank you. I also wanted to let you know that Ethel, who has worked with our children, she is going to be in a short film that is part of the Lotus Education and Arts Foundation called Astromancy. And so you can Google that and it'll tell you how to do that. But our very own Ethel. How exciting. Yeah. I wanted to invite you. Next Sunday is Easter Sunday, so if you want to wear your Easter bonnets, you can come out and wear those. Men, you can wear your chapeaus, and you can wear those during the service. But it's a great time to celebrate, so come wearing your pinks and blues and all those things. If you're goth, come in your black, I get it. And we'll do that for there. I want to let you know that this coming Sunday, the 20th, is the third Sunday, and that's usually when we have a Course in Miracles. But because this is Easter Sunday, we will not be having a Course in Miracles, and it'll be back on schedule starting in April. But we'll send out announcements and things. Come on in. Patty, let them come on in. Oh, just Patty, just wow. Wait till you see them. Here they go. Oh. Okay, so let's all stand and say our prayer. Anything else? Did I leave out an announcement?
There's the board meeting on Wednesday, in case anybody
Board meeting
wanted
on
to
Wednesday.
attend.
And you know, the board meeting just doesn't mean for the people who are part of the board. This is for everyone. You all are welcome to come and know what's going on at the church. Now, we're pretty transparent, so I appreciate that, but you're more than welcome to come. All right, so let's together say our prayer for protection, and then keep your eyes out, because if you have a kid, they're on their way in. Because they're just so adorable. Just wait a minute. Just look at them. Because we are on the power of power, and today we talked about the power of love, and superheroes have powers. And so how can we use those? All right, let's do our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Let's circle up for the peace song. Crashing up here.